Hello everyone, in this video I am going to show you 3 super simple watercolor designs that are Valentine's Day themed that would be perfect for easy Valentine's Day cards or Valentine's Day treat gift tags. I'm using 140-pound cold press 100% cotton watercolor paper. I'm also using my limited palette with cad yellow, magenta, cerulean, indigo, and sap green. And my brush is a Princeton round size 4. So I'm just using a 5x7 watercolor piece of paper to show you these designs, but you can paint them on cards, or like I said, do multiple on tiny little gift tags would be super cute. So I'm keeping these as simple as possible, and I'm doing them in Valentine's Day colors, which is typically, reds and pinks and oranges and purples, but you can do these in any colors that you want. I'm starting this first design with a watering can. It's kind of a rounded rectangle square shape that is smaller on one end, and then I'm just doing a couple simple strokes for the spout. Just keeping it really simple. You don't necessarily have to sketch it out, and as long as the paint is still wet, you can kind of move everything around to adjust the shape of your can. When I am painting something and I didn't sketch it out previously, I usually start with the smallest idea of the shape first, and then I can kind of make it bigger and adjust it as I go instead of having to take paint away. That's just a lot harder. And then the simple spout, and then a simple little handle, and that was only a few strokes, just simple shapes. You can paint anything with those simple shapes, especially if you move fast enough and add those things on while your paper is still wet. While my paper is still wet, I'm adding the idea of a shadow using some blue into my magenta to create a purple, and I'm just creating the shadow on the base, the far right base of the watering can, and then on the underside of the spout. Because we're keeping everything super simple, that's all we're going to do as far as layering depth and shadows onto the watering can, but you can take it as far as you want to, and when it dries, add even more layers and depth with shadows. But this watering can, I want flower hearts coming out the top. So that's what's going to make it a Valentine's Day design. So I'm doing very thin stems coming off the top. I'm just doing 3 at differing heights for the flower heart part. And then I'm doing some leaves kind of going every different direction. I like doing the leaves and the stems first because it helps me place the leaves and the stems without losing space for them, because sometimes I feel like we paint the flowers and the stems and then it's hard to find the space for the leaves that feels actually natural. So when I paint the stems and the leaves together at the same time, it's all still very wet, and so they kind of blend together and it looks really natural in my opinion. And then for the heart flowers, I just kept it really simple with a basic heart shape in 3 different colors that I felt very Valentine's Day themed, but also like flowers. A nice, beautiful pinky purple and a red, and then I thought a yellow would really tie it in nicely because we needed the lightness into this whole painting, because some of it, the pinks and the reds and the purples, can be really dark. So that's the beauty of adding yellow. It can really brighten up your Valentine's Day designs. So now that we have the hearts, we're going to let them dry for a second. We're going to add some indigo into our sap green to get a darker color for shadow, and then we're just going to kind of tap that in to our leaves. You can add a few more leaves now that everything's situated, and we can even add the little sepal at the base of the hearts, because these are actually heart flowers. So those little tiny leaves that you can see at the base of, say, roses, we can add those at the base of the hearts. And then just add it in a couple of spots for shadow. Don't go too overboard because we want to keep our really light green and not lose it. Then, just to give our heart flowers a tiny bit of dimension, since we're keeping it simple, I am taking a darker version of each of those colors and placing it on the shadow side of the flower hearts. We already decided the shadow side of our watering can is on the right side, so we're going to paint the dark paint on our flower hearts on the right side. And I just did a little bit of color on the right side, and then that is it for the flower hearts. Now to finish off this painting, we're going to add a few more details to the flowering can. I'm doing a very simple shadow color by mixing some purples and yellows and magentas together to get this purpley gray color. Just a really simple shadow right at the base of the watering can helps us with the entire illusion, and we're keeping it, like I said, nice and simple, just a nice little curve, a little bit darker towards the base of the watering can, and it really helps us to visualize the entire painting with all of the shadows on the right side. And then to finish off the design, I went in with some darker magenta and just did 3 little hearts to make it feel very Valentine's Day, and we are done with this design. The next design is one of my favorite things to paint for Valentine's Day, and that is a flower heart wreath. So you just start with a very light sketch of a heart so that you can follow the lines with your flowers. And I actually have a wreath formula. That's what I call it. And the first step of the wreath formula is to start with your biggest objects. So for this wreath, my biggest object is a big, light, fluffy flower. So I'm keeping these flowers very simple. They're just big, flowery blobs with the center open. So just a blob on one side, a blob on the other side, and I'm leaving the center open. And I'm making sure to kind of stagger them, to do some that are, 1 over here, maybe there's 3 over here, 2 grouped together in one side, 1 is kind of big, and maybe there's a small one next to it. But we're just starting with those big, bright shapes, and then we can move on to the next step. Step number 2 is a bright, darker color. So again, this is my wreath formula, adding the second element in a smaller, bright, darker color. So we are adding magenta as a smaller flower, and it is a lot smaller. It's going to be tucked in next to the bigger element, which is our yellow flower, and we're just kind of placing the idea of a pink flower with some really simple shapes, and we're trying to balance and step back and see, where do we need just one, where do we need a couple, and are we staying on the line heart shape so that we're not getting too much in the middle or too far outside. Then once we have all of those pink dark flowers placed, it's time to move on to greenery, and I like to start with the lightest, brightest greenery first. So I add yellow to my sap green, and I'm really using this first greenery to fill in the gaps and also to determine the points of the heart. So there's a point at the bottom of our heart, and leaves have great points. So we can use a leaf to give us that distinct point on the bottom of the heart, and we can also use a leaf to give us our distinct point in that top middle part of the heart. So that's a really great way to keep this a very vivid heart shape by using the leaves for those definite points, and then using the flowers to create the curves and the fluffiness. So I'm using that light leaf again to fill in the gaps, and then we can go in with a little bit of indigo into our sap green and add the contrasting leaf. So that's the next step. We need a contrasting leaf. It's usually a little bit smaller because we just need the idea of contrast to have everything feel balanced, and it again tucks in with the lighter leaf. So it's kind of similar to how I did the flowers. A big bright flower, I tucked in the darker, smaller flower into it, and then a big lighter leaf to fill in the gaps, and then we're going to tuck in the darker, smaller leaf to also round out and fix any gaps or weird spots we have in our wreath. So we can use these little dark leaves, or any color of leaf really, to make sure we're going in all the right directions, that it doesn't feel too exact. We can have some of the leaves popping out and giving us a little bit of shape and texture without changing the whole shape of the heart. So once I'm sure I have the exact heart shape, that we're not going in the wrong direction, I add some leaves on the outer edge and on the inside just a little bit to give it a nice texture and a fluffy, organic feeling so it looks like a real wreath. The wreath is finished in form, but now we're going to add a few simple details that will really take it to the next level. So I've mixed magenta and cad yellow together to get a really nice bright reddish orange, and I am going to place that around the center of the yellow flower. So we're kind of following the blob shapes, but keeping the center open. It's just a great way to add detail to such a big, bright flower and another color. And then I wanted to finish that flower off by mixing my own dark black. I'm mixing indigo into this magenta reddish orange color, and it gives me a pretty good black. And I'm just going to tap the tiniest little dots into the center of the yellow flower. You could do the center of your flower in any color that you want. I just thought black would be a really great contrast to all of the color that we have going on, and kind of bring your focus into the center when you're looking at the tiny flower up close. But I'm just doing a tiny little bit because I don't want to completely overwhelm the center and lose some of that white space. Now for our third design, I was imagining an envelope that has a pattern on it, and you open it and there's hearts kind of flying out. So an envelope is a pretty easy design. You're going to start with a rectangle and then a triangle on the top, kind of like a house. And then you're going to make those lines for the folds of the envelope. Those are going to be really important part of our design. I'm erasing it just a little bit so that the pencil details are not that dark. And then I'm painting the entire thing with a really light reddish orange color because I just want a base color for all of the designs that we do going forward. If you're having trouble with your watery washes, your light washes being too watery, remember that you can always tap your brush on your paper towel to release some of the water. Also, sometimes if I feel like the paint is too thick, I can add water straight to my painting to kind of dilute it and move it around. So there's a lot of different ways we can have water control with these light base washes. Once that base wash is completely dry, we are not doing wet on wet, we are doing wet on dry. So I am kind of outlining where those lines for those folds of the envelope are, and I'm painting the top a little bit darker. This is going to kind of look like it's the inside of the envelope. Again, we're going to wait for that to completely dry before we do the next step. We're doing wet on dry, and I'm going to start adding some of the shadows in our envelope before we add in all of the designs. It's just going to be easier to add them now and then put the designs over the top. For the shadows, I'm just using that same orangey magenta color, but I have a lot less water and a lot more paint, so it is appearing darker, but I haven't really changed anything about the mixture. And watercolor is a layering medium, so the more you layer even the same color on top of itself, it will look darker. So you don't have to change a lot to the mixture to get some of these shadows that are going to give this color a lot of depth, because you're just using the same color to make one area darker. Now again, we need to wait for that to completely dry because we're going to start putting the designs on this design. And the first design we're going to do is we're going to do the dark magenta pink color for the hearts that are coming out of the envelope. So I started with some bigger hearts to feel like they're kind of the bulk of the hearts that would be escaping from our envelope. And then I slowly add in some smaller hearts for just kind of dimension and interest. So don't feel like you have to plan out every spot that your heart is. Just do one heart at a time, and you can always step back and see, okay, it's starting to, maybe lean more to the right than I wanted to, so I'll place a little heart over here to the left. And oh, it looks like it's not really full at the bottom, I'll place another heart at the bottom coming out of the envelope. Those kinds of things. And I like the idea of it tapering off into smaller hearts, so the hearts that are coming out of the center towards the bottom are the biggest ones and in the middle, and then everything on the outside is a little bit tinier, kind of like we're just gradually getting smaller and smaller as we go farther and farther away. So I'm doing these really tiny hearts, but I'm also shaping the entire thing, almost like just a little bit of smoke coming out with these tiny hearts. So the tiny hearts are how I'm shaping it, getting gradually smaller and smaller. Now we're going to paint our pattern on the envelope. So you could keep this just how it is, a really simple, light colored envelope, but I think making patterns on Valentine's Day stuff is really cute. and takes it to the next level, right? So I wanted to do almost a plaid stripe. I didn't feel like this was a different color enough, so I did add a little bit of blue to my magenta red I had going on, just to give it a more purpley color. And I am doing just a very simple stripe down the side of the envelope. Now, you want to make sure that your brush is at a very even pressure so that your stripe is all one consistent shape. It's very easy to use not enough pressure on part of the stripe and then maybe too much pressure on another part of the stripe. So I use my brush kind of holding it to the side so that I have more control over the tip. So you can see I have followed the line of the fold for those stripes, and now we're going to do the right side of the folds on the envelope. And I don't want these lines to match up. I want them to be off kilter from each other just a little bit, because then it looks real, like a real piece of paper that's folded and has different lines in that area. Because if they completed each other, it wouldn't look like there's a fold. I hope that makes sense. And you can see how adding the shadow before makes that whole upper part of the fold look darker already, just with these added details that we're making. Now, to create this stripe plaid feeling, I need the lines that are going horizontal to actually be really, really thin. So I wanted them in a very dark magenta color, and I'm just using the very tip of my brush to create these tiny thin stripes. And you can see I'm holding my brush very differently than when I did the thicker stripes. I'm holding it more to where it's angled upward and not to the side, because I'm using just the very tip. It's a little bit easier to control the tip at this angle. And again, I also don't want the horizontal stripes to match up. I want them to be just off from each other, so it looks like two pieces of paper that are folded together, but they're not completely lining up. Now I want to enhance the shadows of this painting just a little bit, so I added a little bit of shadow to the inside of the envelope, but it was a little bit too gray for me, so we'll fix that in just a second. And then I added shadow on the outside of the envelope, but I didn't like the positioning of it, so we'll also fix that in a minute. So it's a good way to see some of the things that I didn't like and how I fixed it. So we're adding just really dark shadow on the side, because some of the really light shadow almost didn't look like it was a shadow, but we are going to be taking the shadow that's along the bottom away. So don't put your shadow on the bottom like that. Look at a reference photo and make sure your shadows actually line up with how they're supposed to be. That would be my advice. So just ignore the outside shadow for a second, but we are going to fix the inside shadow now. I'm going to pick up some of that bright magenta, and I'm going to line that inner angle of the envelope with this dark color. Then I'm rinsing my brush off, and with water we're going to blend that color up just a little bit so it's a little bit more diffused than such a harsh line. Now, the reason that my shadow on the outside of the envelope doesn't look good is I have it too much around the envelope. It needs to only be on 2 sides, not 3 sides. So once it's completely dry, I can use my X-Acto knife to kind of shave the top of the paper and remove this color from the bottom of the envelope, and it looks so much better. I use an eraser to smooth the paper out, and it's finished. Thank you so much for being here with me today while we painted these super simple but super adorable Valentine's Day ideas that you can use for your cards. I hope you loved it and that you use these in your own Valentine's Day designs. I will see you all next time.